Recording has started.
Okay, hi guys on our community meeting. Before we jump into agenda, I see new faces on the call. It's Manish, it's Daniel, and I guess you're Semen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do not know how to switch it language.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I mean, we can start learning Cyrillic.
That's gonna be funny.
You guys want to share why you're here, why you joined? Of course, you can say no and don't share, but if you'd like, you're welcome to do it.
Okay, I can give it a start. My name is Daniel Moellenbeck. I'm working for BP, for the British oil company, and I'm being the chief architect for all things integration there. So we are currently driving a big API program internally, but I think we need to get this to the next step. I'm a messaging person, right? I have a very strong messaging background, and I always said, hey, APIs are non-technical, right? And we need to find also a way to document and discover and share our APIs assets we have internally for all things messaging. And that's why I'm quite interested in this journey and to see how we can leverage AsyncAPI for this. Because one thing we're currently doing is basically to what I would call democratize IT in BP. So basically leverage a lot of people consuming data streams, event streams, whatever data, right? And we need to publish this data sets, certainly. And I think that's a good way. Because we have already some background with MuleSoft and the way we document basically web-based APIs. And I think it's basically a good fit to leverage this.
Awesome, welcome.
Welcome.
Just quick question. Are you using RAML currently? Because you said you were using MuleSoft.
Yes, both. I think we have basically, I think, two flavors, right? One is where we really trying to force the contract first approach, where we really trying to use RAML because we have all the toolings, all the power of the platform. And then we have basically a kind of a big, hello.
Say hello, say hello.
And we have a big kind of more software engineering community, which are probably more code first driven, right? And that we're still leveraging Open API or Swagger to basically draft their contracts after the fact.
Awesome, thanks. Thanks for sharing.
You.
So maybe I'm next. Yeah, I found how to rename me, and I'm Semen Tenischev from the systems company, part of Deutsche Telekom. Yeah, and some time ago we start movement of our architecture to microservices and microservice approach, and also, of course, the idea to use the event-driven architecture principle. So we are looking to implement Kafka in our infrastructure, and as one of approach to implement API first is we found AsyncAPI and found it's useful standard for us.
Awesome, welcome, Semen.
Yeah, so my name is Manish Yadav. I'm working for Millennium, and I have a 5+ year experience with MuleSoft, and I am living worldwide MuleSoft community. And I don't work directly with MuleSoft, but as a MuleSoft ambassador, I used to participate in meeting with MuleSoft product team to provide high-level feedback. And yeah, I'm currently working as associate architect with one of the pharmaceutical company. And yeah, due to COVID, we have a lot of work to do. And apart from that, I'm hoping from this community how we can leverage a RAML fragment and everything from MuleSoft to achieve a sync and event-driven architecture. Yeah, and I hope we're closely working with you guys. I mean, from the community perspective and from the learning. Yeah, so that's great to part of this community.
Awesome. Welcome as well.
Yeah.
I mean, looking forward to work together, of course.
Yes, thanks. Yeah.
And for us, it's also cool that every call we have different faces on the meeting. So it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's really awesome. So yeah, looking from the agenda perspective, there's only one item I added today after quick conversation on the general channel with Semen. And it's about the Java template that Semen works at the moment. So the question was about and I'm totally not technical guy in Java that can be straight here, but basically the topic is about, is there any, like, do those two templates that we have, like the Spring Boot and the other, the Spring Cloud something,
Yeah.
if they exclude each other, or actually they can, they're, I mean, at the end, they are fundamentally different, and there can be two templates. And because I don't know those two technologies, so it would be awesome if, like, maybe Francesco or you, Jonathan, because like from the high level, I think they are totally different. And they, because different technologies are used under the hood, then why not having both? But
do we have both developers? So one template.
Yeah, I mean, I can address I think I can address the question. This is Jonathan. So I think the answer is that they are fundamentally different. I mean, there's multiple different, within the Spring framework, multiple different ways to interact with different asynchronous resources in kind of different styles. So the Spring Cloud Stream one, that, you know, I think the commonality would be is maybe the object model definition, but then, you know, the actual generation of the application interfaces are going to be different between the two. So I think it makes sense to leave them separate.
They also solved two completely different use cases, right? One is a low-level interaction with Kafka, with some Spring magic around, while the other one is the Spring Cloud is more about integration and being able to reuse Kafka and Spring Cloud with other modules.
Correct. Yeah, like the Spring Cloud Streams one, obviously is developed by Solace. And so, you know, Spring Cloud provides a facade around different implementations, Solace, Kafka, Rabbit, etc. There's also, you know, Google PubSub. The other one looks a little bit more Kafka specific. And then, you know, I think that in the future, there's even going to potentially be another one that's around using, you know, the Spring integration with Spring JMS that would support all the different JMS providers as well. So I think there'll always be sort of multiple different Spring, you know, options, because there's so many different options within the framework.
Yep.
Yeah, I see. In general, I agree. It was just a small concern about the approach, because yeah, I just small view to the code of Spring Cloud template, and yeah, it's also generate model by schema. It's also have some work with, of course, publish and subscribe, and yeah, both templates have some parts in the common, at least the model generation. But yeah, from big perspective, it's too different to merge together. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, I don't disagree that the models, you know, I mean, in general, a model, you know, that's using JSON in Java is probably going to use Jackson and Jackson annotations, and like that should be able to be plugged into any Java application that's, you know, sending and receiving, you know, JSON messages. So, you know, maybe the discussion is how do we kind of create a more common object model generator versus, the application level, Spring Cloud Streams versus different other, pieces of Java in Spring Framework components.
So it's about how we can modularize the solution, right, to get a benefit on both approaches.
Yeah, modularize specifically the object model generation, because I think the object model generation should be common even outside of Spring Framework to more, other, like, oh, you just want to use, maybe you just want to generate the object model because you're going to write, some other, maybe you're writing JMS code, so you still want to use the object model that's generated by, that comes from the AsyncAPI specification that uses Jackson, so that, you can easily serialize and deserialize your events. I think, that should be common across all the different Java code generators. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was thought.
I'm sharing a link with you here. I don't know why Zoom is not making it look like a link, but so we already have an issue for that. It's called Java Pojo generation. And so the idea that we are considering and it's on our roadmap for this year, to make these things like, not only for Java, but for any language, to make object generations like structs in Go, classes in Java, and et cetera, in different languages. We might choose to go for QuickType. So QuickType is a library. It's linked there on the issue, and this library allows you to generate from a JSON schema definition. It allows you to generate Pojos with Jackson, Go structs, TypeScript objects, or any interfaces, and all this stuff. So yeah, just want to make the comment here that we're going to address it, and it will be like straightforward, right? So from the template, you might be able to do that. The way I imagine this is, from the template, you say, please generate the Pojo here, right, in this file, and you don't have to worry about anything else. Obviously, that will be like kind of magic. That's always cool to have this kind of magic if the default works for you, but also to be somehow customizable. So this process of generating Pojos or any other objects in other languages, it's going to be included for sure. It's something that we have in the roadmap. So yeah, for now we know that it's duplicated job on the Java Spring template and the Spring Cloud Streams template. It's like all duplicated, but yeah, luckily we're gonna start cleaning soon all these code duplications, right? That we've been detecting lately.
So we basically want to solve it for all languages, not just Java. Any other questions or comments to this topic?
Maybe one question I have is, how come, is there no way that we can make use of existing, like the Swagger Open API work? Because it seems like we're kind of copying a lot of what they do.
I think. Oh,
please.
So yeah, just a quick response is the work the Swagger people did is written in Java, and our generators in Node.js. We sure can make use. We can port their code to Node.js with a lot of patience, but it's certainly possible, right? But we found this library that's basically doing that, right? So this library is basically doing this job. It's generating the models for you in any language. So yeah, and it's in Node.js, so perfect, right? that's actually one of so migrating or porting the code from Swagger was one of the first options. The other options was as well in the beginning, like, okay, so let's migrate the generator to Java. So we already have that. But since none of us is a Java programmer here, I know how to code in Java, but I suck at it. So, so yeah, that's why we chose this direction. And luckily, we found this library that makes it easy for us to generate code on any, to generate the models on any language, right? So we should be fine, I guess. Also, just let me add, I'm chatting lately with the Smart Bear folks, the guys behind Swagger, and maybe we can do some kind of collaboration there. So yeah, I'll check.
Do you have anything in the roadmap to support one of the standard used by, for example, Google PubSub or Kafka? Because the library that you post there is a code generation that goes from a JSON schema towards something else in Java code. But most of the streaming platforms out there use Avro or Protobuf. So
I think it should be possible, right? Like it should be fairly easy, let's say, famous last words, to add this feature to this library, to QuickType, to generate from JSON schema, generate something on I forget the name, on Protobuf or something like this. Actually, if I recall correctly, I think they have something, maybe. I don't know. In any case, I think generating Protobuf from JSON schema it should be straightforward. The other way around is not that straightforward. But yeah, I think we should definitely explore that option as well. But I think it's gonna all depend on you folks and the community, right? So we are community driven. So if we get a lot of requests from Java with Protobuf or Avro with Kafka and Java, depending on how we sense or how we measure the community requesting certain features on the code generators, we'll start prioritizing them as we go, right? Because right now the myriad of languages, frameworks, and message formats like Avro, JSON schema, Protobuf, and all of that we have in front of us is like a trillion, right? So it's like a trillion combinations. So yeah, so it all depends, and it all also depends on the contributions from the community, of course. Like if you think that this is something that will be valuable for you and others, I'm happy to help anyone with this, like anyone that wants to jump into implementing these code generators or these features of the code generator. I mean, I'm saying I am happy, but we are happy, actually. I think, well, maybe Lucas now is not happy, but
not really.
but yeah, if that answers your questions, it's actually, we have a roadmap that says double down on code generators. It's super generic, I know, but it has to be because we don't really know what people are going to demand. So it's like we're at some point in this year, we're gonna start investing hard in more code generators or improving the ones that we have to be better, and only that we will be focused on that. What does it mean? We'll define it once we have this task in front of us, right?
Okay, thank you.
right now is like it can be anything because we have millions of code generators pending. So yeah. I hope this helps. And again, this, as always, feel free to jump in and start your own. Right now, just to make it clear, you might see ourselves right now or in the past weeks or in the next weeks. I'm apologizing in advance for what we're doing now, but we're trying to make the parser, the JavaScript parser, which is the one that the generator uses, and the generator, both libraries, we're trying to make both libraries reach the first stable version, right? So we're doing a lot of breaking changes, right? Without any consideration. Like you might, we're gonna be breaking a lot because we are in 0 point something. And actually, there's a disclaimer there, like be careful with relying on this library in production because we're making breaking changes. So and it's not stable yet. So our first priority will be to make the parser and the generator stable, so we can build on top of that, right? So yeah, sorry in advance for the next weeks.
Any additional comments? Okay, so just a follow-up on what Fran said about breaking changes. So we're trying to make it like much smoother because now we are doing this automated releases and we're making sure that the pull request that's merged and triggers release, it has a proper description, what's broken in a given release. Like today we released a parser with new version where, for example, there's a small breaking change in errors handling. So yeah, just an addition. Any other questions from your side?
Yeah, questions and requests, or just if you want to insult us or something, like you guys are doing a pretty bad job. We hate you.
We can even turn off the recording for a second.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you want to insult hard. So yeah. Lucas, maybe mentioning a little bit the status of the conference.
Yeah, so remember that we have this conference next week, Wednesday. The schedule is out. A few sponsors showed up. Also, a few communities tweet about us and share news in their company websites. So it looks good. There's also, when you go to the conference site, there's already a link to a YouTube stream to which you can set a reminder if you want to have some automated reminder for the event. Because as you know, this conference it's free, so there's no way to sign up for the conference. It's gonna be just streamed live to YouTube. And at the moment we're kind of exploring because we got 3 sponsors, so we have some money to spend on marketing. So if you have contact with some super experienced marketing person that played with Twitter ads, because we would like to try Twitter ads first. So and this marketing person wants to contribute to open source project. Please have us in contact because we're gonna now explore first with Twitter ads, put some budget on it, and see how it helps with increasing the traffic to the website. Also, if you have better ideas, like I was recently thinking about Stack Overflow ads or something like this, then yeah, feel free to share some good tips and tricks here.
Yeah, even if it's just I don't know, something that you know people are doing, or if you can strategies that people are following, like For instance, Walid just shared today a technique of creating 20 little ads, or by little it means cheap ads, right? So 20 cheap ads, and measure them and in different regions and different with different text and images, and measure which ones are working well, and then depending on the ones that work the best, you invest the rest of the money on 2 or 3 of them, right? Like the best, the ones that are performing the best. I've never thought about it, to be honest. Like, I think it could be great. I think it might be even better if we had time, but we have only one week, so we don't have much time to play with it and measure. So yeah, if you know someone that knows about it and would like to, I don't know, just give us an advice, quick advice. It doesn't have to be more than a few words or a quick call of 5 minutes. We will be super glad. So yeah, because we're not marketing experts. Eva is actually video content expert. She's doing some marketing, but she's not a marketing expert either. So yeah.
But I really like the idea, Fran, the way you have created YouTube promo and the content. It's quite interesting to watch. It's quite exciting, I would say. It's really nice.
Which one? You mean the promo video?
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. I love it. I mean, that's.
Yeah. And the line you have added that from the favorite quarantine room. That line, yeah.
That's Lucas. That was Lucas.
I was supposed to post to our LinkedIn because I'm too active in LinkedIn. I can't see much activity from AsyncAPI on LinkedIn. But I don't know. Yeah, but
we try to schedule the same things we schedule for Twitter. We schedule them for LinkedIn. Okay. So I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just because we don't spend so much time on LinkedIn. Yeah. But yeah, at least the scheduled stuff is posted to Twitter and LinkedIn.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, cool, folks. So is there anything else on the agenda, Lucas?
No, there was just one topic, and yeah, the conference topic. I don't have anything specific.
Yeah. So just for maybe not for you, but for people watching this video afterwards, if you're presenting on the conference, remember that you have to send us the video by Thursday. Yeah, that's another thing that I would like to clarify, that the conference, or the way we are trying to organize the conference to make it more resilient to network failures, is that every presenter pre-records the talk, and we will be so the presenter will be joining live with us. Then we will introduce the talk, and we will start streaming the talk, the recorded video. During the presentation, the speaker will be able to be on the chat replying to your questions, so you don't have to wait until the end of the talk. And also, maybe if there's time at the end of the talk, they will join again live to answer some questions live, right, as well, instead of written. Yeah. So yeah, so that's why I was saying that please send the video to us if you're watching this. We're sending a bunch of emails to the presenters, but just want to make sure that the conference is resilient enough to network failures from every side, right? We don't want to go live with the conference and suddenly there's a network failure on the side of the presenter, and then they cannot present. So yeah.
But I've heard that we are probably too protective here, because I read recently that in States, for example, they invested now, like the government or someone invested so much in the internet quality of the ISPs because they assume that the traffic will increase, so they invested a lot now recently, and probably, as I've heard, the quality connection got even better.
Yeah, but nothing prevents your router from crashing, right? or your computer. So yeah, so that's why. Anyway, I mean, if we have to go live, we can always go live, but that would be like, we'll try to do our best.
Yeah. So Fran, I mean, I have one question. As Łukasz mentioned in Slack that there is no need to do any registration for this, event, I would say. So how would you tracking the number of participants, or do we have some limitation on the participant?
No, YouTube tells you how many participants were watching the live stream. There's no limitation. If we can be there 40 million people, well,
okay.
So, yeah.
At least 40.
At least, yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, but it's going to be YouTube views, and then we're going to compare it to the visits to the website to see if it's matching or. But
yeah. Also, don't forget that videos will be. So the live stream the video of the live stream will remain there on YouTube. So even the first, let's say the first month, this will start getting more and more views from people who couldn't join the live stream, or they didn't know about it yet, and they find out after the day of the conference, and they want to watch it afterwards. So yeah, it's an asynchronous conference.
Especially that we also plan to invest some amount of the sponsor money to the promotion after the conference.
Yeah, exactly.
So in future we are expecting in person also, right? Or no? In person event, like.
Who knows?
Yeah,
who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Yeah.
Let's see. I mean, coronavirus is telling us that we should probably stay away of these events for more than a year, at least until we have a sign, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, it's crazy, but yeah, we don't know. I mean, it depends on many things. Organizing an online conference is for sure not the same of organizing a regular conference, right? Because it has less headaches. It has the problem with live stream, right, with network issues, but that's it. That's the only issue that you can have, basically.
But in the exchange, you can reach much more people, right?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, but you cannot have beer with your colleagues. I mean, you can, but you have to pay for the beer. So, yeah. Cool, folks. Any further questions or topics you want to cover?
So Fran, like I recently joined this community, and I just wanted to start how async works from the MuleSoft perspective, and not only from the MuleSoft perspective, but like including YAML fragment, how to generate fragment for async, and how can I learn much more from this community or from you guys. So like, how can I start this? I involved with this community from last 1 month, I would say, but I don't know from where and what to start.
So regarding
so if you can help me with that, I can write a blog. I can because I have a very big community in MuleSoft worldwide, and I am leading MuleSoft community worldwide. So, I wanted other folks to involve in that.
So regarding MuleSoft integration with AsyncAPI, it's still being built. So MuleSoft is currently working on their own solution, and I'm not hiding this. I'm helping them build their solution. So it's great, but it's not there yet. It's not. I don't think there's even a date for the launch yet. The only thing I could show you a little bit more is about the usage with RAML data types. So right now it's possible to use RAML data types inside AsyncAPI, and you'll get it. You'll get the same benefits as if using JSON schema, right? So you should not be noticing any difference, right? So if you have, for instance, your REST API is defined with RAML in one side, and you have a bunch of data types defined, right? And you want to reuse these data types in your, say, for instance, Kafka, your Kafka event-driven architecture, and you don't want to redefine, or Kafka or AsyncAPI, whatever. You don't want to redefine these data types. You want to reuse these RAML data type definition. You can use them on AsyncAPI directly. So you don't have to write it again, right? So that's the only thing that's possible right now. But I think so far, aside from a product, that's it. I mean, that's the common parts between the REST API world, let's say, and the event-driven architectures world is that they both have in common some data types.
Yes.
And you don't want to redefine again and again in different formats, right? And maintain them in different formats and maintain them in sync. So that's why we added support for RAML, right? For people using RAML for their REST APIs. So they can start reusing these data types. Make sense?
Yeah. I went through one blog. I think it's written by you or Łukasz for the RAML fragment for async on MuleSoft website.
The MuleSoft blog?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it was me. Yeah.
Okay. And I was trying to implement before 2 months back. I was giving presentation to one of the biggest client how to implement this async call by using that blog. But in real, I haven't implemented anything, something called async, because we worked on synchronous and batch and ETL type of things. But I just want to implement in real life, at least from the MuleSoft perspective, so that I can give a demo or presentation to our team or our company or client.
Sure, we can handle this offline if you want.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's for just ping me so I don't forget. And if I forget, ping me again, please. And sorry in advance.
Yes. Yeah, thanks, Fran. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Cool, folks.
Any further questions? Like Jonas, you're with us again. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, I remembered after Fran. But yeah, no, I don't have any questions.
Okay, cool. So I think we can 3, 2, 1 finish the call. Thanks a lot for joining, especially all the new faces. Hope you're staying longer with us.
Yes.
If you have further questions, feel free to ask, of course, on Slack. Yeah. Bye, and see you at the
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, bye. Thank you.
Thanks a lot for joining. See you.
Thanks, Fran. Thanks, Łukasz.
Bye.
Bye.